Good morning, guys. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. Sorry for the wind noise y'all getting that on camera. It is very windy again. But if you're new here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. So we're gonna get to work on the car. Have to do a couple things to the back of it. A couple more things. Got a bunch of parts back here. Have to do some work on these bumper, on the crash bar studs. Also got to remove these old brackets and a couple other things. So I'm gonna go ahead, get the car down here and get to work. Okay guys, so I'm gonna go ahead and pop the trunk open because it was latched. But as you can see, we did pull this out a little bit. That way the trunk will latch. Bent all these back where they need to be. Gonna have to throw a little bit of weld right here on this piece because it did separate a little bit when we were body working all that. But shouldn't be a bad deal. But what I need to do is I need to cut these bottom bolts out because they are rusted on there. All the top bolts came out just fine, but the bottom ones rusted. Those just broke off. And those probably will too, so I'm just going to go ahead and cut those off and then get some grade A hardware, grade 8 hardware, and replace those. That's going to be the first thing I do today, to get that out of the way. That way I can get the crash bar fitted back onto the car, and then we can move on to the bumper and getting all of this worked out to where the taillight will fit. This two sides right here, the alignment pins don't match up, so we need to pull that over this way a little bit, but it shouldn't be too big of a deal. Yesterday my main focus was getting the trunk here to latch, which it does, just like so. Now this trunk, the trunk lid is bent. It's bent down here at the bottom, it's pushed in, and it's also tweaked over this way. As you can see by the gap here and the gap over here, but it does work. It does latch now, as you can see, and I did get the seal put back into place and all of this, all the kinks worked out of here, so it does seal off, except for over here where the lid is bent up. But like I said, shouldn't be a big deal. I'm just going to replace this trunk lid right here. We've already unhooked it way up in there, but shouldn't be a big deal. Like I said, only wiring we have is for the 2 license plate lights, and I'm going to look for a new deck lid in today's video, maybe, but probably going to be tomorrow's video. There's a guy that owns a salvage yard here in Greenbrier that I want to go check out and see if he has anything. So, see what we can figure out. But first things first, I'm going to cut these studs off, get them drilled out. That way I can put in some new grade 8 hardware. Alright guys, got these 2 studs cut off. Down here, I'm going to leave the top ones because they were fine. But cut those little dudes off. Gonna have to let the compressor build up a little bit and then get to these 2 over here. But we're making progress. Also, like I said, I do have to get these old brackets off because they are kind of rusted through up there. But that shouldn't be too bad a deal. I do remember, because we did take some off a car down there at Pick and Pull. Just have to go up in here, and then there's 2 bolts. So not too bad, not too bad. But I'm gonna get going, guys, and I'll update y'all here in a minute. Alright guys, just finished cutting those off. As you can see right there, you got the top ones. Cut the bottom ones off, same thing as the other side. Not too big a deal. Just take the little cut off wheel there and just zip them off. So next things I'm going to do is I'm going to find the correct size of these and drill those out to the proper size. That way we get about the same size bolts. So I'm going to get that, and the reason why I'm not cutting these off, same as the bottom, is these didn't break, and it would be impossible to get your hand and a wrench up in here to hold the bolt while you're tightening these. These are welded here on the backside, and I think they are pressed. So, but on the bottom, you do have a good bit of room down there, so that shouldn't be a whole big deal. So that's why I didn't mind. And also, another thing I might do is I might throw a little weld back there, just kind of hold the bolts. But we shall see about that. Like I said, I'm going to have to throw a little bit of weld right here, because that did separate a little bit on us yesterday. But like I said, it shouldn't be a big deal. Throw a little bit of weld on there, grind it smooth, and paint it up, and you should be good to go. But there's not a whole lot of damage back here, like I talked about in the last video. You know, there's a couple little creases and stuff back here, but it's not a big deal. The bumper is going to cover a lot of this up, but I am going to paint these the bare metal areas like this, where the paint chipped off while we were body working it, just to kind of clean everything up back here, make sure we don't get any rust issues or any of that kind of thing. But I'm going to go ahead and get these drilled out and measure for some bolts and see what we can come up with. Also, this is probably going to be a pretty short video because I still have to paint the back bumper, which is right here behind me. But if I can get the crash bar on here today, I'll be happy with that. And it's like 1:30 right now, so I do have to go here in a little bit and do a couple things. But we're moving along, guys. We are moving along. Also, these little bolts right there for the bumper brackets are right, I don't know if you can see them, right there, and then there's another one right there. So not too bad to remove. And I'm going to try to get up into here in this little cavity and try to work out this dent a little bit more, as well as that dent right there. But I'm going to see what I can get going, guys. I think here around 2:30 or so, I'm going to run to the junkyard and see what we can figure out. Just like that, guys. Worked out a little bit of this here. Still needs a little bit more hammer and dolly in right here on the very edge, but I can't get up into there to hammer this out. But for where I started, let's see, about right in here, pretty smooth, smoothed out a good bit, as you can see right there. But past here, I can't get to this whole section, you know, because the taillight panel goes up into there to about here. So that's where my line is, where I can't go any further out. But it is smoothed out a little bit more. I'm going to try to buff this out a little bit, as well as take care of some of these high spots. Also, I did get most of that dent out up there, as you can see right there. But I'm trying to be careful, because I really don't want to paint this quarter, because then you'd have to blend it into the doors and all that kind of stuff. Have to blend it into the roof and everything else. So I'm trying to be real careful to not beat it up real bad, because like I said, I don't want to paint this quarter panel. But also, now what I'm going to work on is getting these pushed over a little bit more. This hole right here for the alignment pin and this bolt hole, I need to push those over this way just a little bit. Right here is where we need to be. So I'm just gonna grab something and pull this over just a little bit, because when we pulled this out, I think it did pull it out a little bit, but when it from the collision, it did push that in a little bit. But it shouldn't be too bad a deal. Like I said in the last video, I did get a new taillight here. It's a little bit scratched up, as you can see right there, but it's not busted or none of that. I do have the wiring harness off the old taillight, and I did get one with this one, but I took all that out. That way we're not chasing wires through here every time we take the taillight on and off. But I'm going to see what all we got to do to pull this over a little bit more, and I'll catch up with you guys here in a bit. Alright guys, so had a little bit of an issue here. Let me set the camera down for just a second. Make sure it don't fall off there. But run into a little bit of an issue here with fitting on this new taillight. After everything has been pulled back here, I had to open up a couple of the holes back here. That way everything would fit. You know, all the holes would line up with the holes in the taillight. But it is in right here. It is in right here. But if you look, pretty good little gap right here and up here. This I'm not concerned about with the gap between here because of the weather stripping has to sit down in there as well. But I'm not liking this. I don't really like the gap right there, and it's like a little ledge of the taillight right here. So this is what I'm trying to work out. The deck lid does hit it right there, but I figured it would because this is twisted and bent. But that's where I'm at right now. I'm going to see if I can pull this out a little bit more, because it is, I mean, right there, I don't know if y'all can tell, but that is as far in as it will go. And then I've got to bend where this mounting tab is. It needs to come out a little bit, but we're getting there, guys. Now the taillight will actually stay in place, and I can actually put some of the bolts on there. You see that one down there? The alignment tab and that one right there, they line up. This one here, like I said, I need to bend that back a little bit. And then there's another alignment pin here, but the little rubber thing that it goes into is missing, so I'll have to find another one of those or just leave it. But guys, we're making progress. Just trying to figure out some way to get rid of this gap. I'm figuring that all of this is pushed in right here from when this happened. I did body work that out a little bit more, but I still need to flatten it out some, and then I'm probably going to sand it and hit it with a little bit of touch-up paint. But like I said, I really don't want to paint that whole quarter because I don't want to have to blend it into the doors and up on the roof and all that kind of thing. It's not hitting here. I gotta sand that down, but it's not hitting there. There's a little bit of gap all the way around. It is hitting right there. I'm going to take something and bend that out a little bit on the quarter panel. But like I said, guys, we're making progress. But I'm going to work on this a little bit more, and then I'll update y'all. But I'm running out of time quickly, so I'm hopefully going to get this finished up today to where I can at least put the taillight in. Also, I did get some bolts measured, but I still got to drill those out. But I'm gonna get to that, and I'll talk to you guys here in a bit. Okay guys, little update here. This still needs to go in a little bit more at the bottom for the alignment pin, which is still sticking through pretty good. And then the bolt down there, which is just barely sticking through. But I did fix a lot of my gap issue right here, and not as much of a ledge as it was. So guys, we are on the road to success here. This body line matches up pretty well, but I still need to do a little bit more to where I can get the taillight to lay in some more. But guys, we're getting there. Slowly but surely. This is one of the bad things about doing these kind of cars, is all of this kind of different work. But we're getting there, guys. We're getting there. Well guys, here we are. You can see there, the taillight is bolted in. I gotta find one more nut for this one back here. But as you can see, got pretty minimal gap, you know, except for right here at the top. But that'll pull in a little bit more when I put that last nut on it, which is right around here somewhere. So that'll pull it in a little bit more. And also I do have to find a couple more washers for these, because I did have to open these up a little bit more. So that'll kind of help out a little bit. Also, I do need to fix right here. I need to bend this up a little bit, but that's not a big deal. We can do that when I put the taillight harness in. And then you can see it does hit the trunk right there, or almost hit, but when you shut it like so, it does hit it right there a little bit, right there. I don't know if y'all can see that or not, but it does hit it a little bit right here. I'm going to take that, beat that up with a hammer a little bit, and you can see here how much this thing is twisted. I mean, I can put my whole hand inside of the trunk. So, twisted pretty good. As you can see over here, no gap hardly at all. But also, I did get this latch hooked up yesterday, so I think we're good to go. As far as back here, like I said, I do need to bend this up a little bit more, and then do a little bit more, smooth these out a little bit better, because I did have to beat this around a little bit to meet this up here. But that's not a big deal, guys. We can get that taken care of and be on our way. Just have to kind of smooth this out a little bit more. Like I said in the last video, probably going to cut this right here, this main one, because this metal is stretched. So I'm probably going to have to cut it and overlay it, and then glue it, or seam sealer or something like that. And then you got to bend it out a little bit right there, but nothing too major. I just wanted to get it to where I could put the taillight in it today. I'm gonna go get some bolts later on, and I'm about to start drilling those out, but I have to go here in just a little bit. So I'm gonna get working, guys, and I'll update y'all here in just a bit. Okay, guys, so here we are. Here's kind of the almost finished product. I did get this taillight in, and then, like I talked about, just a little gap in here, not much. Like I said, though, when I tighten this side of the taillight down, it will pull it in a little bit, and being how this is bent, it's also pulling it back, so that gap will go away a little bit. But also I might need to do a little bit of trimming on that, but ain't no big deal. So there's 2 accomplishments in 2 videos. One, the trunk is latched, as you can see. It's latched, and now we did get the taillight in. Also got the studs trimmed off the bottom. Gonna drill those out in the next video. But guys, I'm about to head to the junkyard and do some looking, see if we can find some more parts for the car. But y'all, I think this is gonna be all for this video. So if you liked today's video, please drop a like and comment down below. Hit that subscribe button again, because I plan to do more of these Copart cars in the near future. Also, another quick update with this fender. I might try to fix this fender, I don't know. The bumper is toast, is missing this end, but I might try to fix this fender, I don't know. I'm gonna look, of course, and see if I can find another one, and if I can, I'm just gonna use it. But if not, I might try to body work that one out a little bit before I order a new one. But I'm trying to get this car done pretty quick, so we'll just have to see what we can find at the junkyard. But guys, thanks for watching. I hope y'all have a great day.